Yep. So I'm just opening up my notes. 1 second. So yeah, in the last class, we spoke about the last thing we spoke about was the if else and nested if and all of those things. All right. So we're going to continue on that. The next topic we'll be talking about is this topic. 1 second. Let me open up this next object. Let me zoom in. I hope my font is fine. So next topic we can talk about is about the truthy and falsy values. Okay. Basically, so all the values in the JavaScript, they have they have an inherent, they have a default truthy or a falsy Boolean value. Like any value you take it, be it a number, be it a Boolean, be it a string, anything. Okay, depending on what value it is, it can either be a truthy or a falsy Boolean value. Okay, for example, I'll give you examples of what all are the are falsy values in JavaScript. Okay, so when it comes to the falsy values, we have the following falsy values. Why is this open? First one is obviously this Boolean value called false. This is a falsy value. The second is the number called zero. So if you have a value of zero, right, the number zero, that is also considered as a falsy value. Next thing is an empty string. This is also considered as a falsy value. All right. So this Boolean value of false is considered a falsy value. The number zero is also a falsy value. The empty string is also a falsy value. Okay. Apart from this, the other falsy values are uh, null and undefined. Okay. So null and undefined, we already know what they are and what the difference between both of them is. Null and undefined are also uh, falsy values. Next, you also have not a number. Okay. So basically, see, any of these values, right? Any of these values, if you take, all of them are falsy values. And everything apart from these are truthy values. Okay. Basically, see, let's say if I'm storing, let's say if I'm storing a number and if it's a zero, okay, because this zero is a falsy value, is zero's number is then it can be considered as a falsy value. Okay, number is basically this variable called number is actually a number, right? But it also has an inbuilt falsy value. Okay, let's say we have a name here. Okay, we have a name like this. Okay, this name the string called this variable called name has a string value, but it has an inherent truthy value. Okay, it's not a false value because it's not an empty string. But if you have an empty string like this, say some string is equal to an empty string, this will be considered as a falsy value. Now I'll tell you why this matters. Okay, first of all, let me just run this app again. So I'll just do a console.log of hello world, and let me run this by doing this go live. And then this will launch the app and go next.js. And let's go to console. Why is this like, okay, sorry, this should actually be this. Okay. We have hello world here. First of all, let me just go and remove the HTML thing, whatever we have, because we don't want to distract ourselves. So I'll remove all of this. Now we can only focus on the JavaScript part, which is this console part here. Okay. So it's up and running. Now let's say in the last class we spoke about the if condition, right? The if statement. So if statement can then whatever value you give, only if this expression is a true value, then you expand, then you actually run this code, right? This code is run. This code is run because we have directly given it a value of true here. But if you give a value of false, what happens? This code will never run because if statement will only run if this expression is true. Now, one more thing is here. What if I give it, let's say if I have a name here, like an empty string, okay? If I give this name inside this, okay? Let me change to username. If I give this username here, guys, can you tell me, will this line of code like print or not?
Yes,
think
print.
about what it will print.
Yes.
Rohit says no. So can you tell me why do you think it will print?
No, sir.
Sir, empty means false, na?
Correct. So that is the answer. So see, I've clearly given here that username jo hai, that's actually a falsy value. Okay. Whenever they give a falsy value here inside if statement, this will never run because if statement expects a truthy value here. Okay. If statement expects a truthy value in order to execute this code. But because we have given an empty string, which basically is a falsy value, this block of code will never be run. Right? And is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. I have a small task to do, which my team is waiting for me on. Just give me 1 second. This is the problem when you have multiple jobs to do. 1 second. Okay. But till then, let me ask you guys this question. What if I now add this username as Aditya? Okay. What will this code of will this block of code run? Yes or no? Yes, and the reason being this username is right now a truthy value. Because like I said, see, except these values, except these values, every other value is a truthy value. Truthy value. Everything other than above. Okay. Everything above other than these are a truthy value, which means that because username is having a string of some length, it's not an empty string, which means this will actually be a truthy or a true value, because of which this block of code will ultimately run. Right? Okay. I'll give you one more simple question. Let's say this is null, and if I actually have which block of code will run, guys? Observe carefully now. Which block of code will actually run? It's just a second. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. Guys, which block of code will actually run now?
else wala.
Else wala. Why will the else wala run?
Because if condition are null, sir, that's why else is executed.
Okay. And is null a truthy value or a falsy value?
False value.
Great. Okay. Now let me give one more example. Let's say it's an empty string, by the way, it's empty string. And I will actually do this. Else if user location, then run this. Okay, now which block of code will run now?
The error, sir.
Error तो नहीं आएगा.
Because दोनों false ही है तो execute कोई सा भी नहीं होगा.
हाँ, that is correct. So error नहीं है. So error कब होगा? When you've written some bad code, logical कुछ अगर syntax गलत है तब error होगा. लेकिन इसमें there's no error. I mean, there's no issue with the syntax. ना. Everything is fine. Just that both of these are falsy values, because of which, like you said, neither of these will run. ये run नहीं होगा, ये भी run नहीं होगा. Because both of them, see, like अगर आपके पास एक if statement है, then if statement always expects you to give a truthy value. In this case, both of these are actually not truthy values, right? And hence, दोनों run नहीं होंगे. ठीक है? Now, what if I do this? Now, what will run?
So also else wala part.
Else will have, okay, what about the others? What do the others think? Is everybody aligned on this?
Um,
Roy also says yes. What about the Pranjal, Yatin? What do you guys think? Else, okay. So you guys are right. If you go back to our JavaScript, there's block will run. Okay, you guys are correct. So I hope you guys now have an understanding of how this works. All right, okay. Now let's proceed now. We'll move on to the next thing. Second, my notes. Next topic I'm going to learn is actually about logical operators. Logical operators. You know what are logical operators? Okay, we have three kinds of logical operators. One is and. Wait, where is the and symbol? One is the and operator. Next is the or operator, and third is the not operator. Okay, ignore the fact that this is in red color. That's because of an extension I have. But yeah, basically I've commented out all of these things. Okay, so basically we have three kinds of logical operators. First one is the and operator, and second one is the or operator. Third is the not operator. Now, these things you guys must have learned in your college also, right? So it's very simple actually. We'll start with the and operator first. So and operator hota kya hai? We'll learn about this. Basically, if see both sides must be true in order for the whole thing to be true. Like let's say if I have let's say if I directly just go here and in my console I'll start typing like this 1 less than or equal to 4 and this will equal to a. Okay, observe what is happening here. See what the and operator wants is दोनों side के जो भी comparisons है, whatever is there on both the sides, both must be true in order for the entire thing to be true. अगर हमको ultimately ये सब कुछ हमको if you want to get us true, then both of these things must be true. Which means if you do something like this, like true and true, okay, and it will be true because like I said, both the sides must be true in order for the entire thing to be true. Based on this, guys, you tell me what will be the value for this 9 greater than 10 and 9 greater than or equal to 9. What will be the value of this?
no, false, sir. False.
Why will it be false, Ganesh?
Because sir, one condition is false and other is true.
Perfect. So because this condition is a false condition, which means ultimately we are saying false and true. Okay. What the double ampersand? By the way, guys, this is called an ampersand. Okay. When you have this now, इसको हम लोग usually हम लोग and बोलते हैं, लेकिन in terms in the programming world we call it an ampersand. Okay, but so when you have an uh, when you have an and operator here, both the sides must be true for the entire thing to be true. In this case, because this thing is a false value, this is ultimately written a false value here. One more example I'll give you. Let's say ABC का जो length है, it should be triply equal to 3 and 1 plus 1 triply equal to 4. What will be the value of this? What is the value of this, guys? Not sure? Okay, first of all, let's try to understand just this part, okay? What is the value of this? Will it be a true or a false value?
True value.
Okay, very simple, right? Because see, this is just a string. A string ka length जो है, that will be 3, right? Because A, B, C, there are 3 characters. So we're saying this is triple equal to 3, which is a true value, right? Guys, any questions here? Because it's very important for you to know. See, if you're not sure with the basics, it's difficult to move ahead, right? So tell me, like, you guys understand what's happening here? Any questions here? Guys, any questions? Okay, I'll assume. Now, this was the next thing, right? So, what is the value of this? Let me just remove this and ignore this. What is the value of this? Is it a true value or a false value?
False, sir.
False. No. So, if you go back to the original question, which is this, what will be the answer?
False, sir.
That's it now, very simple.
Yes, sir.
The false value, that's it, because this part is true, this part is true. Taking the right side ka jo part hai, that's the false value. But like I told you, the double ampersand jo hai, this always requires both the sides to be true. Even if one of them is false, then everything will be false. And not just one side actually. So you can have multiple ands, okay? Like let's say ki, I have one triple equal to 1 and 2 less than 3. This will be true, but you can even add more conditions as well. You can say 4 greater than 2 and 10 triple equal to 10. Okay. Even here, if you see, all of these conditions are actually true, and that is why we ultimately get the entire result as true. So basically, it should be true and true and true and true. Only then the entire result will be true. Even if one of them is actually false value, let me make this false value, everything will be false. Again, मैं से एक भी false में, everything will be false. Okay, I will give you guys a question. You have to solve it for me. Okay, you can take your time, but solve it. Okay. The question is, let's say there is a password, and the password is Taco Tuesday. Okay, very simple. What I want you to do is, so if the password length is equal to 6, and the password has no spaces, then you have to console log valid password. Valid password. else you will console log invalid password. Okay. Now here I'll tell you, you basically will have to use the AND operator. First of all, this is easy. Password colon final colon, but how will you find out if the password has no spaces or if it has spaces or not? Okay, so this is something which will be little tricky for you. लेकिन we have learned the concept to achieve that. हम लोगों ने वो सीखा है how to find out whether a certain character exists in a string or not. We have already done that. Okay, just try to recollect that. You have to give me the answer. Okay, in case you guys don't know the answer for this, try to Google it. Okay, Google करके get me the answer. But ultimately, I want you guys to give me a proper code for this. Okay, it's 9:27. I'll give you guys till 9:37, and then I'll give you the answer. Then, okay. If you have any questions, please ask me. Guys, any answers so far? If you want any hints, I can provide you hints as well.
Sir, password dot index is equal to 0, then they false. I think.
Password dot index. Wait. You're saying password dot index. Okay.
Is less than no, is less than equal to 0. I think.
Wait 1 second. So first of all, is there any method called index on a string?
Yes, sir.
There's no method
I
called
think.
index. No.
No. Sorry, sir.
No problem. Don't be sorry. At least you tried. So that's good. But
Sir,
point
एक
is, what are you? Rajendra, go ahead.
सर एक बार क्वेश्चन रिपीट करेंगे सॉरी मैं लेट हो गया मैंने जस्ट अभी ज्वाइन किया
No problem. So the question is, I want you to write a statement, okay, and I want you to write a code. See, we have a variable here called password. Okay, this password has some string inside of this. My question is, if the password length, if it's equal to 6, and if the password has no spaces, then console log valid password. Otherwise, console log invalid password. Rajendra, did you listen to whatever I spoke about the AND operator? Rajendra?
सर
So I spoke about the AND operator to what, like, were you there in the class when I spoke about the AND operator?
सर if I use password dot length is not equal to 6 then
That not be enough, na? Because I want to check for both the conditions. I want to check that the password length is 6, and if the password has no spaces, then console log valid password.
okay
So how will you do this? Okay, so Rohit has given some answer. Let me copy and paste it here. Let's see how to copy this. So this is the password dot length, and this password is false. First of all, Rohit, my first question is, why did you use if true? If you're using if true, we'll always enter this block of code. Na? It is not what we want. And console log should actually have, say, there are a lot of problems with the code here. Basically saying, okay, I think you meant to put this here, is it? I think you want to do this, and you want to actually do this like this. And probably this should be like this, and else cells block me, you want to do this. Okay, so guys, I think you guys are getting confused between your Python syntax and JavaScript syntax. Because this syntax is not a valid JavaScript syntax at all. You don't have invalid password or, oh, wait. So you meant to type the string. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I thought you meant to use this basically. So this is what you want to do, right? Rohit? Let's see what the answer. So it's saying invalid password, but if I remove the space here, so it'll say, it still says invalid password. Yeah, I saved this and I went here. This is still saying invalid password. So this actually is not the right code. And I think you got it from Google, I understand, but you have to also understand why this will work, why will this not work, and what is even this? What is this thing here? So my point here is, like, don't blindly copy from Google. Definitely use Google, but you have to also understand what the code what the solution is talking about in that answer, right? So here you have just used this thing, but do you know what this means? You don't know. So it's fine. So I'll give the answer. But does anybody else want to give it a shot?
Sir, if I use password dot length equal to 6, कंसोल हम कंसोल पे प्रिंट कर देंगे वैलिड पासवर्ड, एल्स हम कंसोल पे प्रिंट कर देंगे इनवैलिड पासवर्ड.
हाँ, but what about this condition? See, मुझे क्या चाहिए कि इस स्ट्रिंग में अगर कुछ एक भी स्पेस है तो आई वांट टू प्रिंट इनवैलिड पासवर्ड. लेकिन अभी इस कंडीशन के हिसाब से क्या होगा? इट विल ऑलवेज गिव मी पासवर्ड का लेंथ.
Hello?
Wait, actually,
Sir,
so let
मैंने
me
जो
make it
दूसरा
greater than. हाँ. Yeah, who was talking? Rohit. हाँ.
हाँ सर, मैंने जो दूसरा कंडीशन डाला था ना, वो केस में सर एक मैं प्रोग्राम देखा था, तो उसमें सर
Okay.
अगर व्हाइट स्पेसेस है तो वो ट्रू आता है उसमें कंडीशन, तो उसकी वजह से मैंने इज इक्वल टू फॉल्स करके वो लिया था.
हाँ, नहीं. So that is not actually वो सब कुछ जरूरत ही नहीं. So there is a much easier way you can check if a space exists or not.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll ask you a simple question, Rohit. See, we discussed about that method. First of all, we did not discuss many methods. Okay, so string में बहुत कम methods थे. इसमें से we can actually use one method which will tell you if a specific character exists in a string or not. Now here we are trying to find out if the space का character exists in a string or not, right? So space is a character, right? So if I
Yes.
want to find out if the space exists in a string or not, what should I use?
Okay.
Just think of all the methods we discussed about.
So I think log method.
नहीं यार, log is for console logging ना.
हाँ, so
If
Google पे
exists,
देखा था.
हाँ, sorry.
if exists,
Exist बोल के है ही नहीं. There's no function called exist. We discussed about that, guys. We discussed about that. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, like I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a very big hint. We have to use index of method. We discussed about this multiple times, right? So
yes
now
sir.
you guys tell me how can I use index of on this password to check if the space exists or not.
If space does not exist, it will give -1.
That is correct. Perfect. Okay, now we'll make use of that. Okay, so basically we'll say if the password dot length is greater than 6 and if the password not index of what should I give index of here?
Empty.
I have to give a space here. If the index of is triple equal to -1, right? This thing, now this condition right here, we are checking if the space exists inside the password or not. अगर इस space नहीं है, इसका मतलब है the value will be -1 and that is what we want. हम लोग यहाँ पर बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो पासवर्ड का लेंथ है वो 6 से ज्यादा होना चाहिए and the password must not contain any space inside of it. That's what we're saying here. ठीक है? So here we'll do valid password like this, and we can do else. We can do the console log of invalid password. Okay, now we'll check getting invalid password because here we have a space. Now what if I remove the space? We get valid password. What if I add the space again? We get invalid password. What if I reduce the length of this just 4 characters? We get invalid password. And what if I add 2 more characters? We get invalid password because it's still not 6. Now it's valid password. Okay, this is how we think about. So remember, don't forget the index of method. Okay, index of क्या करता है? If this character exists within the password, it will give you back the index. लेकिन अगर वो index, अगर वो character है ही नहीं, it will give you back -1. Make sense, guys? Any questions here? And one more point I want to talk to you guys about. So this morning I was reading a news article that a lot of software companies they're facing this thing called attrition. You guys know what attrition rates are? Does anybody know what attrition rates are? Okay, so attrition matlab when employees leave the company for other job opportunities. Okay, like let's say you're working in a company called Deloitte and you get a better opportunity in Microsoft and you leave Deloitte. Like you leave it yourself. You're not leaving because they're firing you or something. You're leaving it because you have better opportunity. Okay. And from the past 1-2 years, the attrition rate has increased a lot. The reason being, people are getting like really good software job offers across the country, be it an MNC or a startup. Doesn't really, in fact, startups are actually paying really well these days. Okay. But for all of this to happen, you have to be really good at coding. No? You can't just be an average coder and expect to get a very good salary. You have to really excel at it. And let me tell you something, it's not difficult to become a good programmer at all. Okay. All you have to do is whatever I'm teaching, just code along with me and ask me as many questions as you can. Don't hesitate. Because trust me, guys, see, I will teach you and go. Like, mera to kaam ho jayega. Lekin if you guys don't understand, it's your loss now. See, I am ready to put in how many hours you want. I'll clear all your questions. But if you guys don't code along, if you guys don't keep the class interactive, it's ultimately your loss. It doesn't affect me in any way. But if you guys succeed, I'll be really happy. Okay, not just here, but offline as well. I'm willing to help you guys. You know how to prepare and all of that, and willing to help you guys. Okay, so and JavaScript, like I told you, is a very important language. Any job interview you attend, even if you ultimately work on React, they will be asking you all the questions in JavaScript only. Okay, and whatever you're learning now are absolute basics. All right, you have to know these things really well before you start, learning advanced stuff. That's why I'm saying, as I'm teaching, open your VS Code, open your Chrome, and code along with me. If you think I'm not teaching something well, be honest and tell me. Like, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. I'll repeat 100 times until you guys understand. Okay, I have the patience. You guys keep the hard work thing going on. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on to the next topic.
ये equal to -1. हाँ, ये समझ में आता है.
I'll tell you. So let's start with this. Okay, let's say कि हमारे पास एक string है, and the string name is password. Let's say Taco Bell or whatever. Okay. They already been declared. ठीक है, काम करते हैं. We'll say const user is equal to Aditya. I want to know what is the index of y in this string. You guys tell me what is the index of y in the string. Y का index क्या है string में?
Four.
What is the index of y?
4.
4, right? Huh. Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But there is a method that we can use. It is index of. So index of is a method on all the strings. You can use them on any string you want. Now, here you have to pass in what character you want to check. If you give y here, it will give you back the index of y. If you give if you give t, वो 3 देता है. If you give I, वो 2 देता है. And if you give like a, it gives 0. And if you give like small a, it gives 5. So basically, if you use index of, it will give you back whatever the index of that character is within that string. You can even directly use a string like this. Let's say attack on title, not index of, and we search for t. Okay, see, it's giving back the first instance. Okay, so एक बार index of को, if it gets the first instance ना, अगर उसको एक t मिल गया, then it will return that value. It will not go any further. वो ऐसा नहीं है कि it gives you back all the t's का value. वो सिर्फ एक ही t का value देगा, वो भी whatever the first t. Okay, it will give you back that. See, you can even use this to find out if there is any space or not, right? Like यहाँ पर जो है we have a space here, right? Attack के बाद और on के पहले we have a space here. We have one more space here also. On के बाद और titan के पहले. So if I just give a space here, this is a space character. If I hit enter, I get back the value of 6 because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, which means the sixth character in the string is actually a space. It was using this, I got to know that what is the index of the space. Now, one thing is, what if I try to give a character here which does not exist here? Let's say if I give value of b, value is -1. If I give value of z, -1 again, which means अगर index of को वो character नहीं मिला इस string के अंदर, then it always returns you -1. Now let's use all the concepts we learned now. अभी मुझे क्या चाहिए? I want to basically मेरे पास एक password है, ठीक है? तो इस password के अंदर do I have a space or not? Okay, I check it using this. All I'm saying is the index of method बताएगा हमको ये space जो whatever space character here is there, does it exist or not? अगर if it doesn't exist, it means that it'll return -1. If index of is returning -1, it means that there is no space inside the password, right? That's what this means. Basically, we are saying here कि password के अंदर अगर space नहीं है. Got it? Who asked the question?
Yes, sir.
मैं भूल गया.
Yatin.
Okay, it's clear now, Yatin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay. So far we have learned about the AND operator. Now let's learn about the OR operator. So AND का हो गया अभी. Let's learn the OR operator now. So OR क्या है? Like I told, so OR is very simple again. So one of the sides must be true, then the whole thing will be true. AND में क्या है? We need to have both the sides to be true, only then it will be true, right? लेकिन और क्या कहता है कि अरे मुझे सिर्फ एक ही ट्रू वैल्यू चाहिए बस, everything else can be false. So as long as there is at least one true value, the entire thing will be true, which means only if all the values are false, then the entire thing is false. Which means, let's say I have a false or true. We get true here because there's a true value here, and we have a true or false, we get true again because, like I told you, in दोनों में there's at least one true value, right? Which means as long as there is at least one true value, the entire thing will be true. Now you guys tell me what will happen if I do true or true. What will the value of this?
True.
True, okay. And what if I change this to false or false?
False.
इतना आपका वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है यार. Guys, what is the answer for this? It's false, correct? Okay, which means that if you need at least one of them to be true. Okay, now I'll give you some more examples. You guys tell me what the answer will be. So 1 not equal to 1 or 10 triple equal to 10. What is the value of this?
10 equal to 10.
What is the value ultimately?
10.
No. See, I'm asking what is the ultimate value? Is it true value or a false value? Very simple question.
True value.
Perfect. Okay. Because see, this is false. Lekin this is true, na? So even if one of them is true, bas hai. You give it a value of true. Now next, we'll do 10 by 2 triple equal to 5 or null. What about this, guys? What is this?
True.
Very good, because even if this is false, this is true, no? Because of which entire thing will be true. Now last we'll do 0 or undefined. What is the value of this?
False.
Perfect, because both of them are false. See, this is false, this is also false. And because there is no true value, ultimately this will be a false value. Okay? That is what OR operator will do. Now I'll give you one more coding challenge based on the OR operator. Okay? Let's say we have an age value of 76. Okay? What I want is, let's say कि मैं एक for some reason I'm opening some kind of an exhibition where people should be either less than 6 years of age, or they should be older, than 65, older than or equal to 65. Okay, so if this is the case, then console log, you get in for free. Basically हमारे exhibition में क्या है कि if the people are children or if they're old people, then I want to give them a free entry. नहीं तो else you have to console log that will be 100 rupees please. Basically हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि मैं एक exhibition खोल रहा हूँ जिसमें I allow all the children and the older people to get in for free. लेकिन अगर आप लोग उस बीच के एज ग्रुप में आते हो, then you have to pay the money. Now think about this very clearly. Very simple question. Write the code for me. Okay, I'll give you 10 more minutes again. It's 9:58. We'll meet at 10:08 again. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll be right here, not going anywhere. But do give it a shot, okay? Give it a proper shot, because unless you guys will practice, you'll not won't be able to get a hang of it, okay? But give it a shot, guys. Let me repeat the question again. See, if the age is either less than 6 years or if it is older than or equal to 65, in दोनों के case में I want to console log this. Okay. Observe that I'm using the word either here. I'm not using and. मैं बोल रहा हूँ अगर तुम बच्चे हो या फिर अगर तुम बूढ़े हो. You can't be both, ना? You can't be a बच्चा and a बूढ़ा at the same time. You have to be one of them. So I'm saying अगर तुम बच्चे हो या फिर अगर तुम एक बूढ़ा हो, then console log this. Otherwise console log this. Very simple.
सर
हाँ
सर ठीक है।
Sorry, Rajendra, I didn't get you.
सर अगर हम एज को लेस देन 6 कर दें
Okay.
और फिर हम उसके बाद इधर से अगर, अगर हम उसे इक्वल टू ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 65 कर दें तो हम उसमें फ्री में डाल देंगे, एल्स के बाद एल्स में जो आएगा उसे हम विल 100 रुपीज पे।
That is perfectly correct. लेकिन I would be more happy if you can send me the code. So see what Ganesh has sent is correct, and what Rohit has sent is even more correct. So very good job, Rohit. That's the perfect code that you've written. So I'm going to copy your code, okay? यहाँ पर copy करके I'm going to paste it here. And there is some one thing. Okay, missed out this thing here. Perfect. So this is what I actually wanted. So basically all I'm saying is, agar the age is less than 6, or if the age is greater than or 65, then you get in for free, or that will be 100 rupees. Please, very good job, Rohit. Very, very good job. And Ganesh and Rajendra, both of you, very good job. Next time, write the entire code like this and send, okay? So you'll get more practice. ठीक है? And remember, see, अगर आप लोग एक लैंग्वेज अच्छे से सीखते हो, but if you don't like practice it on a daily basis, you will lose touch. ठीक है? तो वो मत
सर
करना।
वो जूम में नॉट
हाँ।
नॉट सर वो जूम में नॉट इक्वल का साइन नहीं, इसलिए वैसे लिखा मैंने।
Zoom
ये अभी कमेंट में
मैंने हाँ
वो नॉट इक्वल टू का साइन है ना, वो मतलब लिखते नहीं आता इसमें, इसलिए वैसे लिखा मैंने कोड।
अच्छा नॉट इक्वल टू का। अच्छा गॉट इट नो प्रॉब्लम। तो लेकिन रोहित को आया है ना ठीक से?
आई थिंक सी इज कॉपी पेस्ट सर।
हाँ वही बोल, तो आप भी VS कोड पे लिखो, पहले आप चेक करो, अपना कोड चेक करो, उसके बाद यहाँ पर पेस्ट करो।
ओके
दैट इज व्हाट एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम योर पीपल आल्सो। से मैंने बोल रहा हूँ कि आप लोग डायरेक्टली कोड जूम में डालो। आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट। आप लोग VS कोड में डालो, पहले आप चेक करो ठीक से, इफ एवरीथिंग इज वर्किंग फाइन देन पेस्ट इट हियर। दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग। So let's go and check the answer. You get in for free aa raha hai because the age is 76. But if I change it to, let's say, some 29, we get this, which is the perfect answer. Okay. Again, very good job, Rohit, Ganesh, and Rajinder. So let's proceed now. This was all about the OR operator. Okay. OR. What about the NOT operator? NOT is again very, very simple. So what happens is, we use NOT operator like this. So you'll have a NOT and you'll have an expression here. Okay, this is the NOT का syntax. Now, what NOT will do is, जो भी expression आप use कर रहे हो, उसको reverse कर देता है. Which means if I actually use not null, what do you guys think will be the answer? I didn't get somebody told the answer, but I couldn't hear that properly at all.
True.
Yes, that is perfect. So what if I do not true? What will not true return?
फॉल्स।
Perfect. So basically what is not thing will do ना, not क्या करता है कि जो भी आप यहाँ पर दे रहे हो, अगर वो एक ट्रूथ की वैल्यू है, कन्वर्ट्स दैट इनटू फॉल्स वैल्यू। अगर वो फॉल्स वैल्यू है, it converts that into a truthy value. Very simple. ठीक है? So let's go and give it a shot. So let's say not false will be true, not true will be false. Okay. Next question let me ask you guys. So what if I do not 0 triple equal to 0? What do you guys think will be the answer?
फॉल्स।
फॉल्स सर।
Very simple question, guys. What is the answer for this? Let's go step by step. Okay. What is 0 triple equal to 0? What does that give us? Guys, what is 0 triple equal to 0? Are you guys talking anything? Because we can't hear you. Guys, can you hear me?
Hello?
Are you guys? I can
Yes,
hear you
sir.
now, Rohit. Yeah. हाँ, Ganesh, yeah, tell me.
True,
Okay,
sir.
Zero
so
triple equal to 0 sir, true आएगा.
True, sir.
clear 2 आएगा ना, but what is तो इसका what will be the ultimate answer for this?
False.
False.
Compass. Very good job. So last question would be 3 less than or equal to 4. What about this?
False.
False. Okay, very good. Because 3 less than or equal to 5 is actually a true value. Like if you're doing a not true, it will become a false value. Very simple. Okay. We'll talk about this thing called operator precedence. What is the precedence of the operator? Operator precedence. Like if you're using all the 3 inside a statement, which one of them has a higher importance? Okay. And the order is first is the not, next is the and operator, next is the or operator. Okay, so this will always be the order of the operator. Okay, so if you're using all these 3 things inside a single expression, this will be evaluated first, and then this will be evaluated next. Ultimately, this will be evaluated at the very end. Okay. So let's look at an example. Let's say कि I'll do true and false or true. Why are we getting this as true? What will happen here is, see, first this will be evaluated. We know that true and false will actually give us a value of what? What will this give return as, guys?
False.
False, which means false or true. False or true will return us the value of true. That's why we get that. Now, what if we do this? Let's say if I do not false or true and false. What will be the answer for this, guys?
False.
So saying the answer will be false.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see what the answer for this will be. So I'll paste this thing here.
True
We get
आएगा.
a value of true here. Because again, let's see what is the operator precedence. Like I mentioned here, right? First is the AND operator, which means this will be executed first. What will happen in this case? We know that true and false will be a value of false, right? Which means, so if we break this down now, first what will happen? This will be happen. So we'll do false or false, right? That's the first case. Next step में क्या होगा? Not actually even before this, I forgot. Even before this, what will happen is, see, like I told you, this will actually evaluate first, which means this will change to true, true or true and false. Next, what will happen? This will be executed, which means true or false. And the very end, what will happen? We'll get value of true. ठीक है? So is this thing clear, guys?
Yes sir.
Okay. So, and Rajendra is asking if I use less than or equal to operator precedence. So actually we have the very good question. So in MDN, if you go to MDN and search for operator precedence, you actually have a big table here, which will tell you which one has a higher, which has a higher precedence over the other. if you go down, you actually have a table here. Yeah, so we have a table here where they have mentioned the precedence here. Okay. So if you're interested, just go ahead. So I'll give you this link in the chat. So just go to this website and just give it a read. It will tell you which one has a higher precedence over the others. Okay. But the important note here is about the precedence about these three things. It's always a not operator first, and then the and operator, and then the or operator. Okay. That will be always the priority. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we'll talk about is about the ternary operator. Ternary operator. Okay, now what is a ternary operator? There is a syntax. So if you just want to do a simple if else now, let's say that we have a number here, or let's say we just have an age 876, and then if you say if the age is greater than 10, then do a console.log wait, console log of greater than 10, or we can just do an else statement here. Let's copy and paste this, and let's do less than 10. Okay. The same thing can actually be done using a ternary operator as well. The syntax for that is we have a condition, and if this is true, then expression if true, or expression if false. Basically, what this means is if this condition is evaluated to a true value, then this will run. If this is not true, which means if this is actually a false value, then this will run. Okay, let's see an example for this. So let's say I actually have, I want to check if greater than 10. Okay, then what I can do now is I can check if this is greater than 10. Then return this string called greater than 10. Or return this string. Okay. Now if I do a console.log, of if greater than 10, let's see what value I get. I get greater than 10 here. So let's just do a refresh. Greater than 10. Okay. These both statements are exactly the same. There's no difference at all here. Okay. But whenever you basically want to do an if else statement in this one line, you can just go with a ternary operator like this. This is a condition, and if this condition is met, and you return this thing, which means this will now be stored inside this variable here. But if this condition is not true, then we return this thing, which means this will now be stored inside this thing. Now let's try to change the value of this. Let's make it a value of 9. Now what will happen here? We're saying 9 greater than 10, which is a false value, which means we'll end up returning this. Okay? You see, we get less than 10 now. Okay? Now let's go ahead and check what is what happens. So basically, this is a ternary operator is nothing but a simplified version of a simple if-else statement. Okay, so whenever you actually have an if-else statement, you can convert that into this. If you don't want to return something, if you just want to console log like this, what you can do here is you can just do age and just do this thing like this. And I'll cut this and I'll do this like this. But you have to remove the semicolon here. I'll just remove all of this. And now if you go back, we don't want this. We get less than 10, and if I add a value of, let's say, 19, we can greater than 10. Okay, so this is how you actually add a ternary operator. Yes, so any questions here, guys?
Sir, if I use multiple values,
We can use multiple values. That is called nested ternary operator. So let's say कि okay, if you actually want to check something, okay, अगर 8 greater than 10 है, then this. Or if the age is let's say age is less than 10, and do console.log of less than 10, and we can just give a default value here. Okay, this can be very confusing, but let me explain what's happening here. So all I'm saying is first I'm checking for this condition. Okay, if this condition is true, then we evaluate this thing. But if this condition is true again, we evaluate this or we evaluate this, which means this is one block. Basically this entire thing is one block. Okay, this is the condition, and this will be run if this is true, and this will run if this is not true. This is one condition, but this entire block will run when this is true. Okay, basically what I'm trying to say is if this is true, then run this entire code of block, but if this is not true, then run this code of block. Again, inside this, what I'm saying is if this is true, then run this, or else run this. This can be confusing, but don't try to spend too much of time on this for now. Just ignore this for now. Just try to understand the ternary operator is just using a condition, and if this is true, then expression if true, or expression if false. Expression if false. That's it. Okay. Don't worry much about the nested conditions here. Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to think if there's any other thing. Guys, is it okay if I take the class for till 11 p.m. tonight, because I will not be able to like take the class tomorrow as I'm traveling back to my city. I'm currently out of my city right now. So is it, if you guys are okay, then I'll take the class. Otherwise, we can take it maybe some other time. So guys, let me know.
Okay, sir.
Rajendra says okay. Yatin says okay. Okay, we'll proceed then, but before that, I'll just give you guys a break of 7 minutes. It's 10. Okay, I'll give you guys break till 10:30. It's 10:19 right now. We'll meet again at 10:30. Okay. Until then, just try to refresh yourself and come back at 10:30. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, are you back? We have only 4 people anyway. Rajendra, Rohit, Yasin, and Pranjal. Are you guys back?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Then we'll continue. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as I can, okay? Because only 4 of you are there anyway. So I'll share my screen. So, wait, before this, let me just comment out this also. So I'll give you guys a simple coding challenge. I want you to finish that for me. So let's say I have a status variable and this variable is offline. And I'll say, one second, that color will initially be nothing. So I'm saying if the status is equal to offline, then color will be red. Else the color will be green. Okay. Now if I actually do a console.log of color, if I see what the value is, I will get a value of red here because it is off. If I change this to online, then it will be green. Right? This is what we actually want. I want you guys to convert this into a ternary operator. How can you convert how can you convert all of this code into a simple one-line code? So I have a variable called color, which will basically get a value of red or green based on the status. So how do you convert the entire thing into a single one-line ternary operator? Guys, any ideas? So color is equal to offline green. Okay, so basically I'm copying what Rajendra sent me. Saying color is equal to offline. Okay, so I think you meant to say const color is equal to. This is not correct, no? So you're missing one important point here. First of all, I'm not console logging anything here. I'm assigning the value of red or green to this variable called color. So I'm not doing console log anywhere. So this is not correct, no? It's not work. Just observe what I'm doing. So I've created a variable called color and I'm assigning the value of either red or green to this variable. So how can I do it? I'll give you the answer, guys. So basically it's very simple. So I want to get the color, a value, and if the status is triple equal to offline, then it will be red or it will be green. But so I don't even need any of this now. This one line will work. And if I go and check, I get red here. If I change this to online, I'll get a value of green. Yes. So what's happening here is, see, we are evaluating this condition. If this condition is true, then you return a value of red. When you return this value of red, this will be stored inside this color variable. Okay. And similarly, once this is done, if this is a value of false, if this evaluates to false, then this will be returned and this will be stored inside this color variable. Okay, so any questions here, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Okay, then I think we will stop the class here. We have only 4 people anyway. So thank you guys for joining. I'll see you guys next week on Thursday again, okay? Because I'm on leave tomorrow. So yeah,
Okay, sir.
have a great weekend, guys. Bye bye. Take care.